What is up, Steelers Nation? Thank you so much for jumping on to another episode of All Steelers Talk. I'm Noah Strackbine, joined always by my main man, Jacob Punturi. Find us on youtube.com/All Steelers Talkers. Subscribe anywhere you get your podcast. The Pittsburgh Steelers take on the Miami Dolphins. I mean, at this point, still almost a week from now on Monday Night Football at Acrisure Stadium. So much going on, and it is the perfect opportunity with the Pittsburgh Steelers having an off day to sit down and reevaluate the trades that were between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Miami Dolphins. Because for those of you who do not recall, June 30th at whatever time it was, the world, exploded as Pittsburgh and Miami swapped superstars and then swapped another superstar. We'll dive into that. Plus more, a little depth chart talk, a little what's more likely, a little how do we get past the rain here in Pittsburgh. I hope it's sunny there in good old Scottsdale, Arizona. How you feeling, my friend?
Feeling real good. Again, I'm being very considerate for those tuning in today, just so you don't have to see how nice it is in Arizona where I am. It's way better than how Noah is describing Pittsburgh. You know what I did this morning for the first time ever?
What
You ever done like cupping therapy? We're both fans of massages. Yes. I've never gotten cupped before. I've never sat in the cup chair. But I did get I knew you'd like that one. I did do the cuppins, and pretty cool.
Did it hurt?
I don't know what
bad?
You think about it did. Yes, where the like most tense parts of my back are. Yes, it was not especially comfortable. But we'll see. You know, as the bruises develop, I think I become healthier. So
for sure. I will say that for those of you who are, they say I got brick back. That's what they tell me every time I go to get a massage. I got brick back. And
you sure that's what they say?
They didn't say break back. They said brick back, different thing. Let's get the mind out of the gutter, guys. And the cupping, only thing that ever made it feel better ever. So hope you're nice and refreshed. But yeah, for the rest of the day, you will feel like you're in a third universe a little bit sleepwalking. It's a good time. I'm glad that you enjoyed it. All right, let's talk some Pittsburgh Steelers football. Let's start with the depth chart. Then we'll dive into Minka, Jalen, Jonnu, and the whole nine here. The Pittsburgh Steelers released their depth chart today or last night, I guess. And on it is Adam Thielen for the first time. You don't know where he sits? Well, it's not above Roman Wilson. It remains DK and Calvin Austin as the starters, Scotty Miller and Roman Wilson as the backups, and then Adam Thielen, Ben Skoranek, and Keyshawn Williams as the reserves there. First off, quick note, Mike Tomlin probably has no idea that the Steelers still even have an official depth chart. Probably hasn't seen it since the first official depth chart. I think it's also hilarious that they were just like, yeah, just toss him in at the end there because, he's going to outsnap Roman for the rest of the year. And he might be the reason Roman doesn't play again this season. But shout out to Mike T for making the second year, third round pick feel good, at least on Tuesday afternoons.
I mean, to me, that feels like some Mason Rudolph level treatment, to be honest. And I know Mike Tomlin genuinely has no idea. Like the depth chart is basically just like whoever logs in last in a computer in the Steelers headquarters. Like you just put something out. Doesn't matter. Don't need to proof it. Doesn't need to be accurate. It's not reflective of what's going to transpire on Monday Night Football. But it feels almost like a little bit of like salt in the wound, right? You get demoted, you lose your spot on the active roster because you are not a better backup punt returner than Scotty Miller, according to the head coach. And then you are listed higher on the depth chart, knowing full well you probably aren't getting a hat the rest of the season.
Yeah.
Wild stuff.
Do you think that Roman plays for the rest of the year? Do you think he touches the field one more time at all?
No, barring injuries, no. I think they are much happier and more confident with MVS, with Adam Thielen, Calvin Austin, Scotty Miller, Benny Sko, and DK as their six wide receivers on the active roster.
Just I'll follow it up with this one. Okay, is Scotty Miller the most insane active roster member you have seen in recent memory? I don't want to say all time, but in recent memory, can you think of anybody who has been, and shout out to Scotty, man, but who has contributed less to a team, to the Pittsburgh Steelers, than Scotty Miller has every single week?
In terms of actual snaps played, I struggle. I really do. I do think of was it McCullers? Was he that nose tackle that was here for a little bit? He was like the biggest man to ever play football, but like just really wasn't good. So I think that's yes, yeah. I forget his first name, and forgive me. And please don't hate me, Mr. McCullers. But
I can tell you right now that he was the nicest human being alive. He was a giant teddy bear. So, which is why he wasn't good at football, but he would never be mad at you.
Well, I appreciate that. And I'm sure he's wonderful. And I think, he's my best friend. So that's good. I think he was on the roster for a while, and they really, you would just be like, is they going to put him on the field? No. So on the defensive side of the ball, that's the first one that comes to mind. I think on the offensive side of the ball, there's a long list of sixth wide receivers who have probably done as little as Scotty Miller contributes. And, I nice work if you can get it. I truly, I've said this in so many different situations. If you can make a nice buck doing very little, oh, my goodness gracious. Go for it. Milk that as long as possible.
Yeah.
And that's just working his butt off still, on the practice field, but
just out there catching seven passes a day and making $1 million. You know what I mean? Shout out to Scotty Miller, who continues to do some great things. No slight of Scotty Miller. In my eyes, a fantastic player, but one that just doesn't belong on the active roster. Roman, I don't think plays for the remainder of the season, which is just insanity. I'll ask you, I've asked you this a million times. Ryan Switzer's the answer. Ryan Switzer's the easy answer. Shout out to Ryan Switzer. Shout out to the chat for that one. That was a great answer. The man literally made the roster for what felt like a decade, only because him and Ben Roethlisberger were best friends. Couldn't tell you why. Great times. Yeah.
Where's he coaching college football right now?
Oh man,
that boy was built for it.
He is coaching college football. I think he's an offensive coordinator somewhere. I want to say it might be Tulane, Toledo, something like that. I couldn't tell you.
He went to UNC, right?
He did. And he was a stud. All right. Let's talk some Pittsburgh Steelers, Miami Dolphins trade here, because it happened 6 months ago now. The Pittsburgh Steelers are 7-6, excuse me. The Miami Dolphins are 6-7. Shout out. And there is definitely some discrepancies when you look at stats for both of the players traded. There is definitely a change in narrative when you look at who was traded and how people react to that trade today. The Pittsburgh Steelers, for those of you who forget, whether you choose to or not, traded Minkah Fitzpatrick for Jalen Ramsey. Straight up, 1-for-1, superstar for superstar, swap the all-pros, send them to different places. Jonnu went for a 5th-round pick about 7 seconds after that happened. It was like you forgot to tell your mom something and you called her back. Omar was like, oh, actually, and what about the tight end? Can we get the tight end 5th-round pick? And he said, yeah, whatever. Hung up the phone. Today, these are their stat lines. Minkah Fitzpatrick has 1 interception, 76 tackles, 1 sack, 3 tackles for loss, 2 forced fumbles. 2 fumble recoveries, 1 forced fumble, and 6 pass deflections. Jalen Ramsey today has 68 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, 2 sacks, 1 interception, and 6 pass deflections. And Jonnu Smith has a whopping 30 receptions, 190 yards, and 2 touchdowns on the year. I want to dive into this, okay? I don't want to give it all up immediately, we'll say. And I'll ask this to start. When it happened, how confident were you that the Steelers were going to win this trade?
Oh, now there's, I wish we had some audio playback ready because I think I spoke very highly of the Pittsburgh Steelers winning this trade. And at the time, I don't think I was wrong to think that it felt pretty lopsided in Pittsburgh's favor, right? You have this 800-yard receiving tight end coming off a Pro Bowl appearance. You have Jalen Ramsey, who is in his 30s, but is still a Super Bowl winning defensive back and, on his way to Canton. So it felt like the Steelers win this trade. Yet you give up a really talented guy, a heart and soul defender in Minka, but if you get two demonstrably better players to improve both sides of the ball, felt like a slam dunk. Again, I don't recall completely what I said after the trade, but I am sure I was very high on it. And if I do recall correctly, I think we both were. I think you're muted, my dog.
Sorry. Minka's a good player. And yes, the Steelers gave away something good, but I 100% sat here and said the Steelers just smoked the Dolphins. This is a ridiculous trade. You just got an all-pro, a future Hall of Famer for a guy who hasn't produced the way that you've been looking for him to produce the last couple of years. And then you got Jonnu Smith just to add to it for a fifth-round pick. I mean, to me, I combined the two and said Jalen Ramsey in a fifth or Minka in a fifth for Jalen Ramsey and Jonnu Smith any day of the week. Any day of the week. Even after the news came out that he was extending the contract or that Jalen was getting a bigger contract and Jonnu was getting another year, I said, you know what? I like it. I don't hate the news. I'm okay with it. I think it's a good win for the Steelers. Today, who do you think won the Pittsburgh Steelers Miami Dolphins trade?
Well, this is where, and I appreciate you setting this up earlier, you cannot go all the way in the other direction quite yet.
Yes.
Did the plan work out exactly how Omar Khan and the Steelers drew it up? No. They did not go out and acquire two Pro Bowl players to add to both sides of the ball, right? Like they acquired a decent defensive back, a guy who is making it what I would consider a strong transition into the safety position in his final few years in the NFL. Great. He's been not, I would say, just kind of reacting to the stats that you're throwing out for this 2025 seasons, both players are having. You're not Minka might have a couple more impressive numbers, but Jalen has a higher sack total. They're both making impact plays in some spaces. They've gone a little silent at other times as well. It's the Jonnu Smith factor that trips me up so bad. He has just become such a non-factor in this offense. I said to you right before we jumped on, and I did not have a chance to pull it up, but I wonder how many other players have 30 receptions in the NFL right now, have 44 targets, and have 190 yards receiving. It's just, call it a matter of scheme. I don't think it's an indictment of Jonnu Smith as a player right now, but boy, oh boy, it's hard to call the Steelers the absolute winners of this trade. It just, you can't right now.
No, the Steelers, look, I'll be the guy that says it. The Steelers have lost this trade hard. They have been smoked in this trade. Jonnu is a non-factor for the Pittsburgh Steelers. In fact, he is such a negative factor for Pat Freiermuth and Darnell Washington that I'd be honest with you. I think Jonnu is a negative for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't even think you can look at him as a broke even, whatever. He's not doing anything, but you gave up a 5th-round pick. I think Jonnu's presence is I think you could have got him for nothing, still a negative. I think it's still a pretty significant negative. Jalen versus Minka, on the surface level, not that far off. 8 tackles, 1 tackle for loss. Jalen's got more sacks. They both have an interception. Same pass deflections. Minka's got 2 fumble recoveries and a forced fumble, but Jalen's doing things like hitting Garrett Wilson and, sending him into a new universe to end a game, so it's, those things are happening. Then you look at it and say, Jalen's making $27 million and you're going, and then you're going, Jalen's going to be 32 years old next year and making $27 million. And you're just going, that's a terrible situation. So to me, I get it. Minka would have gotten paid. The Steelers didn't want to pay Minka. At the same time, I'm sorry, but I would have paid the 29-year-old any day of the week 20 some million bucks and felt pretty okay about it, to have the same, if not slightly better production than Jalen Ramsey. I don't know if there's going to be enough time for the Steelers to win this trade. I don't know if that's Minka's going to play the next 2 seasons in Miami. He just got a deal. We both agree that there's a chance Jalen's gone at the end of the season. So if that's the case, the Steelers missed out completely on a guy. I don't know if there's going to be time. And I think Jonnu, if it was a 50-50 split, Jonnu makes it a loss, because I'd rather have the 5th round pick. I would have rather had the 5th round pick easy over Jonnu. I'll be the guy to say it. I think it's a loss. I think it's a loss for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And unless something drastic changes, I don't think you could change that.
I mean, listen, you're not wrong. I don't want to, again, I don't want to go all the way into the other direction. It's a full-on loss just yet. The fact of the matter is, it's not a win, and I cannot, there's no argument here that I can pull to sort of convince you otherwise, and not one that I would believe in. That's for sure. It did not go the way the Pittsburgh Steelers thought it was going to go. I am just, I guess, holding out a little bit of hope, and maybe this is a new version of me, the Arizona version of Jacob bringing this to the attention. But like, there's time for this to go the other way, right? Like, there were moments in this season where the Miami Dolphins as a whole were a really bad team. Yes, they are red hot right now, and they are on the cusp of actually legitimately re-entering the playoff race instead of just being in the hunt, quote unquote. That being said, 4 games left. There's time for Jalen Ramsey to make a few more impact plays to make it seem like maybe this can tilt back in the Pittsburgh Steelers' favor. So I won't call it an absolute loss just yet, but I will absolutely admit to you that it is looking that way more and more every day.
What justifies a win? Like, what are those plays? What are those big plays? Those what do you need to see? You know what I mean? To make it a Steelers win.
I guess just more turnovers, right? Like, and I think that is, this defense lives and dies by them, as we talked about yesterday and the day before. This is the second best turnover team, the turnover differential. They are a top turnover differential team, second most turnovers in the NFL. You look at it and go, can Jalen Ramsey contribute more? Can he give you another interception? Can he make a couple sacks? Something like that. He just has to get more splash plays, because whether you like it or not, this is how the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to live and die these final 4 weeks, and if they make the playoffs. So Jalen Ramsey either has to be a part of that, or this is unequivocally a loss of a trade where you just gave up a player who did basically the same thing, was cheaper. And yes, you have some contract stuff to deal with, but listen, that's not the problem here. When it came to Jalen and Jonnu Smith, they made it perfectly clear the money, the financials was not the issue here. So I gotcha. But let me throw this back at you. If Jalen Ramsey finishes with another interception before the end of the year and another sack, or a forced fumble and another sack or something like that, it's probably a 50-50 split at worst.
Yeah, for sure. Again, like, I think Jalen Minka is almost perfectly split. I think the contract makes it difficult because the Steelers are only, if they're going to keep Jalen, it's going to be too expensive. And I think Jonnu's just not a factor. He's a negative factor. I think this offense would be so much better if Pat Freiermuth was their number 1 tight end and Darnell Washington was their 1B. Like, I just think it would be. I think you'd find more creative ways to get Pat involved, to get Darnell involved, instead of throwing 2-yard seam passes to Jonnu that get 4 yards. Like, I just think that would all be improved. I think that's where the negative comes in. Yeah, Jalen finishes with another INT or something. I could see it. I could definitely see it turning around. I mean, where we sit today, I deem the Steelers a loss, but that's where we sit today. Where we sat 6 months ago, I deem the Steelers clear winners. So just like everything else, the NFL is constantly evolving, and where we sit is constantly going to move. So we'll see what happens. Would you, no, let me rephrase this. And I'll kind of just make a statement. I don't really have a question here. I feel as if I need to take back a lot of like Minka's not making enough plays narrative that was floating out there the last 2 years, because quite honestly, it's very clear as day Minka was not the problem of the Pittsburgh Steelers defense. It wasn't even close. Yeah. wasn't even close. Props to Minka
close.
because I truly think he was the scapegoat a lot of times, and where we could see this, the hindsight, the 2020, he was not. He was nothing but a scapegoat. He was nothing. I think that's why he got traded. Personally, I think he got traded because he started calling out the culture of the Pittsburgh Steelers, saying that they, there were people on there that felt that they just put on the helmet and they walked out there and they were going to win. And I think that's when, ironically, that's when fingers started getting pointed. And we always know, like we say constantly, information gets leaked for a reason. If nothing is going to get out, nothing's going to get out. But if stuff does get out, fingers start getting pointed, things like that. There's a reason that that's floating out there. And it was very coincidental that the fingers started pointing as soon as Minka started talking smack about the culture of the Pittsburgh Steelers. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
All right. Little grassy Knowles perspective from Noah there to close that out.
That's what we do here. All right. Let's get into it. It's Wednesday. What's more likely? The Pittsburgh Steelers still don't play the Miami Dolphins for 5 days. It's ridiculous. It's super not. We've acknowledged this a couple of times this season. I don't know if it's the Pittsburgh Steelers this year. I don't know. I truthfully don't know what it is, but it feels like we hit lulls in the Steelers season this year that are so incredibly dry. And I feel like this is one of them. Like, the Steelers are 7-6. The AFC North is still very much so alive. The Miami Dolphins are a good football team. What I was told today is Tua actually does play good in the snow. I don't believe it when I see it. And that, I mean, there's a massive game with massive questions going on here, including the head coach's job security. But it just doesn't feel like there's much going on right now with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm excited to kind of get the juices flowing here. I'm going to toss it to you. What do we got?
I got you from sunny Arizona. We got some what's more likely's for you. I got 5 for you. We'll rattle them off and see what we got. And I think let's just talk about them. The elephant in the room one more time. It is going to be the revenge game narratives, right? Is it going to be Minkah Fitzpatrick exacting his revenge on the Pittsburgh Steelers and the culture he was calling out and then thrust out for? Or is it Jalen Ramsey getting, the last laugh over the Miami Dolphins after getting his way and getting out of the organization altogether? What's more likely, Noah? Let us know. Who has that revenge game? Who has the impact, the game, the difference-making impact in this game? Is it going to be Minkah Fitzpatrick or is it going to be Jalen Ramsey for the Pittsburgh Steelers? What's more likely?
Can I toss a third option out there? I think what's more likely is Jonnu takes over in this game. Jonnu doesn't do much. 30 receptions for 190 yards. No chance that makes any sense statistically. Smith out here doing stuff. You want to know why? Because Mike Tomlin is the king of the petty football. He loves a good old petty game. He's woke up every day this week with new ideas to get Jonnu Smith involved behind the line of scrimmage to make sure that he touches the football 65 times in this game. He scores touchdowns. He does big things. That's what Tomlin does. He loves it. He absolutely loves it. Why does Jabril Peppers play one game this season before being forced onto the field against the Baltimore Ravens? Because Mike Tomlin loves a good old petty game. Russell Wilson got a game ball against the Denver Broncos when he didn't play them. Are you kidding me, guys? Mike Tomlin loves a petty football. Jalen's going to be the one that has to come up with plays. He'll get one no matter what. The easiest answer in the book is Jonnu Smith, who will be so heavily involved. Pat Freiermuth shouldn't even bring a helmet because he's not going to touch the football. It's Jonnu. If I had to pick between Minkah and Jalen, I think it's Minkah.
Wow. So it's just anyone but Jalen in the revenge game narratives here.
I think Jalen gets something. My issue with Jalen is Tua doesn't throw it deep. So does Jalen get the opportunity? I think that's where that. But I could see Jalen making like a crazy hit. I could see that happening. Jalen's been quiet at safety. He's, you know what I mean? And if you're quiet at safety, you're doing your job. But he's been quiet at safety. I could see Aaron, taking a shot to DK and Minkah coming up with that football. I could see it happening. But the answer is Jonnu. The easy answer is Jonnu.
No, he's due. I think if the DK model is any sort of blueprint coming out of week 14, they know that they can feed him early and often and maybe get him a little bit more involved. So I'll accept that as an answer. I don't know. I don't know how Steelers Nation feels. I don't know what the barometer is on Jonnu Smith right now. I think it's everything you're saying is very much the feelings. But moving on here to the next one here. Left tackle position. Let's talk about it for just a second here. Dylan Cook, the feel-good story of the year right now for the Pittsburgh Steelers, coming in here, 4-string tight or left tackle, and now he's going to take on the Bradley Chubb of the world, and he's going to try to keep Aaron Rodgers safe. What's more likely? You think this thing gets done? Do you think it is more likely that the Miami Dolphins record 3 or more sacks, or do you think it's more likely that Dylan Cook allows 0, regardless of the outcome? None come by the left tackle position.
Dylan Cook gives up 3 sacks or no sacks, 0 sacks. Think about what the Pittsburgh Steelers face multiple times a year. Myles Garrett, the Trey Hendrickson, the Baltimore Ravens. Think about who never has massive games against the Steelers. Think about what the narratives always are after like a Dan Moore plays Myles Garrett. Nobody's like, Dan Moore. They'll reference that. We referenced Dan Moore not allowing Myles Garrett to do anything for his entire Steelers tenure. That's the only reason Dan Moore became like legitimately like, hey, you could keep him in the starting lineup, because the one time he played Myles, he looked good. And Steelers are going to do everything in their power to make sure Dylan Cook is the same way. I kind of like Dylan Cook. I don't think he looked awful when he was out there. I don't think he looked good. There is a significant difference between not awful and good. Okay. A lot of middle ground there. I don't think he looked awful against the Ravens. And I think Bradley Chubb's terrifying, which means that Jalen's going to constantly chip him. Pat's going to constantly chip him. Like, he's going to have so much help. You got to imagine if Darnell's healthy, he's going to spend a lot of time out there. It's just going to be, it'll be Dylan Cook and company. That's what the left tackle position will technically be against the Dolphins. So I'm going to say 0. And I think that there's a really good chance on Tuesday we're coming in here talking about how Dylan Cook did his thing. Dylan Cook was out there kicking some butt against Bradley Chubb. I could see it happening. I can see that.
Would be something, again, you got a tough competition in Bradley Chubb, Chop Robinson. I believe they took the kid from Michigan in the draft last year too. Like, they got a defensive front that can push, right? So yeah. I hope you're right. That would be incredible, incredible game planning. I wanted to space out this question. We have to go back to Jonnu Smith for just a second. And now that you've had a minute or two to think about it,
yeah,
I now want to ask you this question just to make sure. You think he's the breakout candidate to watch in this game? Yes. I'm not totally convinced. I know what your answer is going to be, but I want you to tell us why a little bit more. What is more likely here? That Jonnu Smith has 0 receptions, 0 yards, or Jonnu Smith records at least 4 receptions and has his first 50-yard plus reception game the entire season?
50. It's 50. It's 50. Look at history, okay? Look at what Mike Tomlin does in these games. He feeds off the revenge games, dude. He feeds off the revenge games. He loves every second of it. And they don't always work out. I wouldn't say that Jonnu Smith's going to be the reason that the Pittsburgh Steelers win. What I will say is that until the Pittsburgh Steelers are down by 14 points, Jonnu Smith is going to be the sole focus of the offense. How involved can we get Jonnu Smith? Here's how the game's going to start. Mark it down. Write it down right now. It is going to be a play action pass to Kenneth Gainwell or Jaylen Warren, and then a pass to Jonnu. That's how they start this game. Guaranteed that's how they start this game. Jonnu will have at least 5 to 7 receptions, at least 10 targets, and he will be the guy. The guy. 50 yards it's not easy, but he's going to force it to happen. I'm telling you right now, Mike Tomlin's going to force it to happen. Jonnu's going to get 50 yards. 0 receptions. I would be stunned.
I'm writing all this down because this might be the one. There's a lot of times where I'm just like, yeah, you know what? Noah got me there. He's always full of some sound reasoning. I thoroughly disagree with you on this one. So we'll see
The
what happens. And I'll
petty
eat my words.
football, brother. The petty football. You know Mike T well enough to know that everything I'm saying, it might not add up on the field, but everything I'm saying is true. You know everything I'm saying. That man is sitting in the saying, Art, why do we not have 15 plays drawn up for Jonnu? This is the Dolphins, okay? This is the Dolphins. And then he gives some crazy Mike Tomlin emotional speech thing, gets everybody fired up. I'm not good at those. And there you go. And there it is. There's a whole game plan designed for one tight end who isn't that good. Shout out.
Oh, let's go and let's watch it all happen. Take the overs. We're not a betting advice. Don't gamble. But
what could be the Jonnu over in a game these days? Anyways, I didn't even
25 yards.
25 so high. That is a ridiculous amount of yards.
17. What do you think? I don't know this stuff. I just guess.
It's got like 6.5. I have no idea. Like,
fair enough.
Yeah. Shout out to Goose Egg last week. Shout out.
Yep, exactly. So I got two more for you real quick. Apologies for getting off the rails here a little bit. Let's talk defense for just a second. And I have a list here of 4 players. And I want you to tell me who is the most likely to accomplish this. Which of these 4 defensive players is most likely to record more than 1 sack in this game against Tua carbo-loading Tagovailoa? Is it TJ Watt? Is it Alex Highsmith? Is it Nick Herbig? Or wild card, is it Cam Hayward? What?
Ooh, 2 sacks, you said, correct?
Just more than 1. So 1.5 I'd take.
1.5 you'd take. I'm going to say TJ Watt. Primetime game. Cam's last on my list. I think it would go TJ, Alex Highsmith, very close 1-2, Nick Herbig. The reason I do this is TJ looked good last week, and Miami's offensive line is actually pretty good right now, but Tua is a lefty, which means that he's not going to see TJ coming. And in my head, that makes it more dangerous, for TJ to get back there. I would go TJ. I would go Alex second. I would go Nick Herbig third, just because of the surprise factor here. Cam gets 1.5 sacks. That's a crazy game for Cam Hayward. Crazy. You are just like, Cam's a monster, which he is. Don't get me wrong. But I would say those 3. TJ looked good last week. Alex looked crazy good last week, but Alex isn't a sack guy. He's not like he's not coming up with 15 sacks in a season. He's coming up with 10. TJ, Alex, Nick Herbig, Cam Hayward. It's hard to envision a big game for TJ right now, but if I had to put my money on it, that's where my money would be for sure.
Everyone wants to see it. So let's hope it happens. Here's my last one for you to finish it off. I think I have not seen the latest injury report from the Miami Dolphins, to be quite honest. Not sure if there's any update on their breakout running back.
Expected to play as of
that
podcast that I did a little while. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, and you were just chatting with the boys, the Miami boys.
The Miami boys
podcast. I'm so sorry.
All Dolphins podcast. Go check them out. That's my boy Alan Pupar.
Thank you. Shout out Alan. Shout out All Dolphins podcast. A-Chain's gonna play. That's kind of what I was thinking anyways. Appreciate the update on that. Now that's the big test. Can the Steelers, hold this rushing game in control? Can they have an effective day? What do you think is more likely? Is it more likely that the Steelers accomplish that and hold the Miami Dolphins to under 100 yards rushing, or I recognize that's a little crazy, so I'll throw out another crazy option, or is it more likely that this Pittsburgh Steelers offense passes for more than 300 yards on offense? Two wild cards. What says you, Noah? With brick back, strack behind.
Jonnu's not going to catch for 300 yards. He's just not. That's a lot of yards. I am so sorry, but the Steelers are not gonna hold Miami to under 100 yards. That's not gonna happen. That Miami's good. Miami's backups are good. Miami's offensive line is good. Like, It's not going to happen. And you want to know what's not good? The Steelers running game. Derrick Henry had 95 yards last week. Like, no. It's extremely unlikely that the Steelers get 300 passing yards in this game. However, it is significantly more likely that happens than less than 100 yards. I'm sorry. It's just not. They're going to give up more than 100 yards. They're going to give up more than 100 yards. The only way this works is if DK's back and Jonnu could get 50. That's 200. Yikes, 100 more receiving yards from who? Adam Thielen, Calvin Austin, there's 25 yards. MVS, there's 6. We're at 31 yards. Pat and Darnell maybe combined for 20. There's 50. There it is. 300 yards. Boom. 300 yards. It's not going to happen.
That math is good. Yes.
Thank you. It's not going to happen, but I'll take it. And I'll view that as a positive to end this bad boy. I'll view it as a positive. All right. With that said, guys, that's everything on our agenda. We're going to take a quick break. On the other side of it, we'll start answering your questions. So toss them in the chat. We'll be back in 30 seconds.
Pittsburgh, this one's for you. From the voices behind all Steelers talk comes Black and Gold apparel, your go-to for bold, fan-driven merch that reps the city, the Steelers, and everything in between. Whether you bleed black and gold or just love that Pittsburgh grit, we've got something for you. It's more than a podcast. It's a community. And thanks to your support, we're proud to bring the passion from our mics to your closets. Gear up, stand out, and show the world what real fans look like. Shop now at blackandgoldapparel.myshopify.com.
All righty. Shout out to our members. Shout out to our super chatters. Can't thank you guys enough. If you got questions, toss them in the chat. We're going to kick it off with good old Cody Silva here. I disagree, Jacob. Roman is the best wide receiver in all of the land. And Torta. Did I say that one right this time? I got yelled at. I tried to pronounce it just as it is, and I was bad. So shout out Cody.
Torcha?
Torcha could be the one. I'm gonna start calling you T-Jack. T-Jack, my guy. My guy.
T-Jack.
Cody's right. Roman Wilson, dude. Shout out. Does Roman ever reclaim a active spot in Pittsburgh? Like a consistently active spot in Pittsburgh?
Ever? I don't, man. Maybe. I'm like 2 out of 10 on ever. I feel 100% confident there's no role to regain in 2025. 0 out of 10 as far as that is concerned. 2 out of 10 forever. So things are looking bleak for Roman Wilson and his time with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Do you think differently?
No, I think very much so the same. I also have to say that it's tortilla with
there's no
tortilla.
L's.
They're teaching us in the chat right now.
What?
Right? That's what it is. It's what it is. Tortilla.
The name is Tortilla Jackson. Is that what you're telling me?
Yes.
This name spelled Tortia is Tortilla. Hello, Gold Torch.
Shout out my guy, dude. Shout out my guy, dude. Shout out my guy. I love it, dude. I love it. As for Roman Wilson, no, I think he gets some opportunity next year, but not much. And then I think by the end of next summer, there's a possibility that he's on another roster and that the Steelers have already moved on. Is it going to happen? Or, can he change that? Yeah, certainly. Do I expect it to? No, just because I don't think it's talent. I think there's something else going on here, and I don't know what it is. But it doesn't make any sense for him to not, he's better than these guys. He's just not on the field, and that doesn't make sense to me. Cody Silva, Jonnu Smith is the GOAT.
I had to write this out on my notebook to understand the name. I'm so sorry, Tortilla Jackson.
You were struggling with that. I mean, I can't pronounce things ever, no matter what it is. I'm terrible at names. So
I don't know if you can, but yeah, I had to write. I was like, what am I missing here?
Either way, dude, we're excited. I appreciate you being around, my brother. Cody Silva rage baiting us all day long here. Nate Moore needs more salad. Cody rage bait. Final boss Silva, fantastic. What a guy! What a guy! Duff K Metcalf. I think it's still too early to decide if we lost the trade. I know I personally lost the trade because I bought a Minka jersey when he signed his big deal. That's brutal times, dude. That's brutal times.
Do you have any like bad, like you know, cursed jerseys? I don't know if I said this on here before, but one of my cousins on my mom's side would, like, if there was a player we didn't like, we would tell her to buy their jersey because they would eventually get traded or released. So, you know, she had like a run of really bad jerseys. God bless her.
That's fantastic. No, I have no crazy ones. I have a Saquon Giants jersey that I was pumped about for like all of 10 seconds. But no, I don't actually buy jerseys anymore just because I can't buy Steelers jerseys. I feel too far like into this. And to be honest, most of mine are fake. I'm looking at my jersey collection. It's back there. Most of them are fake. What's the greatest jersey you have in all of sport?
Greatest jersey I have, like, in value?
No, just personally. Your best jersey.
Oh, what a spicy question on a Wednesday. I got tons, to be honest. I have probably too many jerseys. But I have a Dermontti Dawson jersey, which I love very much. It's a great throwback. I have a signed Sidney Crosby jersey. You know, that's personal one. It says to Jacob. You know,
that's
yeah. Pretty cool. Made me pretty excited.
Yeah. Shout out. Mine, I worked at Plato's Closet when I was in high school, stole a Steve Nash jersey that came in. Yeah.
Which was it, like the orange?
Stuff. Yeah,
it's the
one? The old school with the Phoenix coming across kind of diagonal here. Best jersey, dude. It's so dope.
Let's go.
And it was $1. I told the guy came in, I said, yo, dude, we can't buy this. He's like, but I have $1 in my wallet. You want it? And he was like, yeah, it's all yours. And then I took it. Shout out to Plato's Closet, man. Shout out to Plato's Closet.
I used to have this old school Grant Hill Detroit Pistons jersey when I was a kid, and I wore it for probably like 2 years straight until I grew out of it.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Was sick.
That's so awesome. Grant Hill,
Plato's Closet pull.
It's the best. It's the best. Fun fact is that Grant Hill was my favorite basketball player of all time growing up. The guy. Cody Rage Bait Silva here. Both teams lost that trade, and Dylan Cook Nation, let's ride.
Like,
shout out.
It's the man.
Shout out.
You know, listen,
he's still going. Jonnu Smith, 4 jet sweeps, 4 touchdowns because you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Here we go.
Listen, I do totally agree with Noah, to be quite serious for a second here, that I imagine Arthur Smith and Mike Tomlin are very much game planning how to make Jonnu Smith the primary receiver in the first 10 to 15 plays very often, right? Like that is absolutely something that's on the docket for them. The difference between, you know, what they did with DK Metcalf last week against the Baltimore Ravens is that they have tried to do some of these things with DK Metcalf before in the season. Like they have not more than, I would say, 3 times, but they have tried to go deep to DK Metcalf on the sidelines. They have ran slant routes to DK. Like a lot of his route tree was already being run in the first 12, 13 weeks. It just didn't hit for those big plays, except for a few exceptions. Jonnu Smith's route tree with the Pittsburgh Steelers is just negative yardage routes. And I don't understand, you know, show me that you can utilize him that way indifferently before I can really have any belief that it's going to happen consistently, or that they can game plan around it and score. Like, it's one thing to just get the ball to Jonnu Smith, but if you're going to throw it to him behind the line of scrimmage 3 times, bet you don't move the ball down the field.
No, I agree. There's no logical, you know, I can't sit here and point out, and I'm not trying to debate you. I'm just adding to your context. that I can't sit here and point out like how they're going to do it, and it doesn't make any sense. But they're going to do it. They're going to do it. Shout out to Cody Silva here. Shout out to Cody Silva. Tortilla Jackson, baby. I can't spell. Cody came back and said Tortilla can't read either. Cody, you're on fire today. Let me tell you, brother. Let me tell you. Tortilla, I can't read or spell most times. So shout out to you guys. Shout out to you guys.
Can't read, write, spell. This is how we led a nation.
Bernard, old man Philip Rivers is back, baby. I do. We won't spend too much time on this, but I do have to ask, obviously, like, how crazy. 44 years old, was a semifinalist for the Pro Football Hall of Fame this year. You can't beat me with sneezes, dude. You can't beat me with sneezes. The devil comes. The devil works. I work harder. I mean, absolutely insane, to be really honest. Like, what are you doing, you know, to come back to the Colts and play 4 games like at 44 years old? As a soon-to-be dad, I think this is the most crazy part. 2 weeks before Christmas, this guy just goes, hey, my 8 children and several grandchildren, I'll be back in January, brother. See you later. Mom, you got the presents. Peace. Like, that's so nuts to me. It's so nuts to me.
Oh, it's unreal. Talk about, I don't understand how bored he is, right? Like, how can you be that bored with, he's got enough children and grandkids to fill Noah's Ark, and yet he's got time to go play football 4 years after retiring? I tell you what, I don't know. And it is very strange to me. And I tell you what, you're bang on. My wife would kick my ass if I just was like, hey, you know what? Got a work trip for a month. Merry Christmas.
1 month. Merry Christmas. I will be working on Christmas. Will no longer be here. Shout out. Love you. Peace. I don't know, man. I don't know. Cam Hayward had the best response to all of it by saying that his health insurance ran out, and with 8 kids, he had to make sure that he got that one back. So shout out to Philip Rivers. This is my and we'll move on after this. I think that Philip Rivers and the Indianapolis Colts keeping their playoff contention alive. They're only a game back from the Chargers and the Bills for the 5th seed in the AFC. If that were to somehow happen, hands down the Steelers' best opponent going into the wild card, without question, facing 85-year-old Philip Rivers.
The combined age of those 2 quarterbacks is 86 years old. That's not me being facetious and saying a large number for effect. That is true.
It's true.
I don't, like, come on. He might explode into dust if he gets tackled too hard. Philip Rivers. Man, what were we calling the battle? What was it earlier? The geriatric bowl earlier in the year?
The Old Spice Bowl, or the icy hot bowl.
The icy hot bowl.
Dude, this is just a wheelchair bowl. This isn't even, there ain't no icy hot.
The last rights bowl.
Yes. Absolutely insane, dude. His youngest child is 2 years old. Crazy.
Philip Rivers has a 2-year-old child.
Yeah.
He had his first one when he was still in college.
Yeah, well, he's got a 2-year-old now, and I'd rather have my first one in college than a 2-year-old at 44 years old. No, like, yeah.
I'm not going to call Tortilla Jackson Tortilla. Actually, I think I'm just going to call them Torsha since I messed up so bad. But comment of the day that I can't repeat, but comment of the day that just had me almost just giggling right now. So shout out Torsha. Appreciate it.
Oh man, dude. I can't. Yep. I caught it as you were. I knew exactly what we were looking at. Shout out. Duff K Metcalf, Kevin Durant, Sonics jersey. Oh, that's a list topper for sure. Kevin Durant, Sonics are anything Sonics immediately gets me. One of the greatest. Shout out. Nate needs more salad. Was Antonio Brown the most talented wide receiver the NFL has ever seen? No. Jerry Rice. I will always say Jerry Rice. Always. Megatron's up there too, in my eyes. Randy Moss is up there. My top 5 is Jerry Rice, Randy Moss, T.O., Antonio Brown. And then I think there's debate amongst a couple. I think Calvin Johnson is my number 5.
Especially if we're talking about talent, right? Like we're not just talking about all encompassing the careers, the wins, the Super Bowls, the accolades. I think the only way to view this is that Antonio Brown is top 5 most talented wide receivers ever. I will stand behind Calvin Johnson being more talented, Randy Moss, and Jerry Rice. So I'm with you on that, but I don't think you would be even like Terrell Owens. Like I don't think you can really convince me without a shadow of a doubt that he was more talented than Antonio Brown.
I agree. I don't disagree with that. I think that there's wide receiver is a very crazy debate. My thing with T.O. is when I watch T.O. play in a Super Bowl with a broken leg and look ridiculous when he did it, that's when to me I was like, oh, this guy's T.O. is my greatest receiver of all time for a long time. I had to kind of be talked off the ledge a little bit. People to be like, look at dude, you gotta go watch some Jerry Rice highlights and Randy Moss, but T.O., man, I just remember watching that Super Bowl going, that's not real. This guy can't really have a broken leg. That can't be a thing. And he did.
Was it? Yeah. I mean, again, like when we're talking all in, like who's the better total receivers? Like I'm not.
Oh, it's Jerry Rice and a bunch of names in my head. You know what I mean? And honestly, I think it's all debatable. Like I think that it's not the quarterback, it's wide receiver. There's like 5 different options. AB is definitely in the options though, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. The clip of T.O., was it when he was holding out with the Eagles and he's like working out, like doing crunches, and there's like a barrage of media around him and he's just like talking while like doing crunches is like one of my favorite media clips ever.
What I would do to be able to go back and be able to cover the NFL when that stuff was happening would be so awesome. So awesome. But, those days are behind us. Leroy, I came in late, had to watch from the beginning. Noah, you forgot about good old Kenneth Grant as a Kenny G.
Gainwell.
Kenneth Grant, Kenneth Gainwell as a wide receiver. Yeah, absolute stud. He is wide receiver too. You're not wrong though. And when calculating 300 yards, you got to include Kenny G's 50. So that immediately puts them at 250. Doable. For sure doable. 300 yards. I forgot about Kenny G. Jonnu 50, DK 150, Kenneth G 50. That's 250 right there. You need 50 yards between Adam Thielen, Calvin Austin, Pat Freiermuth, Darnell Washington, and potentially MVS. Doable. Super, super doable. Super, super doable.
Super doable. Should be easy.
I think that I would be shocked if they didn't do it. Nate needs more Sal. One more time. I'm confused. How is Roman on the depth chart? If he got the healthy scratch, did someone else get bumped out? No. The Steelers, like the rest of the NFL, releases a depth chart usually on Tuesdays. The Steelers came out late this week, came out on Wednesday. And it's their quote unquote official depth chart. And it lists every player on the 53-man roster, whether you're active or not. Roman is still listed as wide receiver 3, which he clearly is not. But they lie in that thing all the time. I mean, the Easy Oak, his last name. Oku.
Oh, it says he Onamewu.
Yep. Is listed as the last defensive tackle on the depth chart. He clearly is not. Jonnu, Pat, and Darnell are all listed as starters. That's the farthest thing from the truth. Calvin Anderson, up until this week, was listed as the starter over Andrus Peat. That obviously was not the truth. It's just the list goes on and on and on. Jabril Peppers is listed behind Chuck Clark in the safety position. Obviously not the truth. So they don't. Mike Tomlin's never looked at that thing in his entire life, which is so awesome. So awesome. Pittsburgh Hornets. What's more likely? Roman gets 1 more catch or Eccles gets 2. I'm guessing interceptions.
Eccles, because he'll play.
Yeah. On the season, I'm going to go Roman just because, I don't know. Baltimore, just because the Baltimore game. There's the possibility. That's why I'm going to go more likely. I'm going to go Roman because there's the possibility that week 18 doesn't matter and Roman gets petty snaps from Mason Rudolph, which is.
I see you're on the right track now.
That's
going to be
insane.
Mason week 18, baby.
Yeah, it's because you convinced me, and
it's awful.
It's terrible, and I don't like it, but it might be the truth. Pittsburgh Hornets. Yeah, 29 is so young and alive. Once you turn 30, might as well be in the grave. On another note, Noah, when's your birthday? Shout out my guy. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I will say I've woken up with a crick in my neck the last couple of weeks. The back is hurting more than usual. My body is slowly deteriorating as we speak. I couldn't tell you why. I think it's because my birthday is in a month and a half. Something like that. I was just telling Jacob, it's the day of the second round of the divisional round of the playoffs. And the only acceptable thing for me, two of them, the only way I could turn 30 while working needs to either be in Los Angeles or Denver. Those are the only two acceptable cities, or Pittsburgh. You send me to Jacksonville and I'm going to be pissed. Super pissed. You send me to Buffalo, and I'm going to be furious. I will be so angry. New England, I'll be less angry, but I'll still be angry. I will not be happy about it. Those are the only two acceptable cities. Somewhere cool that is not. Boston would be fine, but like Boston and Scranton, in Pittsburgh, what's the difference, dude? You know what I'm saying? At least Denver's got mountains. LA's warm. Jacksonville doesn't even count. It's barely a city.
Jacksonville has chlorinated pools.
Yeah, dude, it's like, get out of here. Get out of here with your nonsense. Macaroni salad. John New had to highlight that one. 6 for 94 and a touchdown. I'm saying it's happening just because of the name. Shout out to John New. Shout out to macaroni salad.
Dude, are you like, I'll legit bet you $20 that he does not catch more than 2 passes in this game.
$20, dude?
Yeah.
I'd put that on there. $20. All right.
They'll hold us to it. Just remind me on Monday.
I will forget by Monday.
Or on Tuesday.
You guys have to remind us. I will forget 100%. But if you guys remind us. Nate, chill on Buffalo. Nate, brother. Okay. After I was stuck in the city of Buffalo for what felt like eternity with Stephen Thompson, I can never go back. I could never go back. I ate the same coffee shop for 3 days. Okay. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Can't do it. Sounds like a great place. It ain't happening, brother. It ain't happening. Maddie, Noah, right now we're projected to play the Chargers in the first round. How do you think we square up this time around? I think being in Pittsburgh helps, but I would not put my money on the Steelers beating the Chargers in the opening round of the playoffs. I think the Chargers look pretty good right now. They're getting their starting running back, and by the time the playoffs roll around, if he's healthy, he'll be fully in the mix. I think the defense looks really good right now. I think their offensive line looks fine. Justin Herbert is not healthy, but healthier than usual. I mean, I wouldn't pick the Steelers to beat the Chargers in the playoffs.
I would not either, and it is a refrain that is becoming more and more common out of me, especially as the playoffs near. The better defense is the team that I am more afraid of in any given postseason matchup, unless there is some sort of red hot quarterback, coming into that matchup against them. Yes. The Los Angeles Chargers are a extremely well functioning defensive unit right now, and I think that is the challenge, right? Like, it's not home field advantage certainly benefits them for sure, but you still have to beat a really good defense to go on to the next round. And I think the Steelers just still struggle to beat good defenses. They have not shown that they can.
I agree. Diamond, since you go to practices, does Roman seem lazy in his route running that may be causing the shunning? No. It's, and that's not this is a great question. This is a fantastic question. It is, to me, there is something going on that I do not know, that Jacob does not know, that the rest of the insiders likely do not know. Like there is something happening where Roman and the Pittsburgh Steelers have this disconnect. And I don't know what it is. You know what I mean? I really have such a hard time figuring it out, but it's not on the surface level. Like it's not anything that you could see or tell watching practice or going to the locker room or anything like that. It's got to be beneath that. I have no idea what it is, but no, it is not. And this is a great question. It is not anything that I'm seeing at practice. Roman looks fine in practice. He looks involved. He works his butt off. He stays out late. It just does. It really, it doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, it's not a work ethic thing. I
No.
can promise you I have not seen anything to indicate otherwise. Like that, I don't think that is the problem at all.
No, I agree. Slim, hey Noah, do you think the Steelers fans wear the most jerseys to the games than any other NFL teams fans? That's tough. It depends on where you go. When I was in Denver last, the jersey selection was pretty crazy for Denver fans. Where else have I seen? Like Green Bay, I've heard wears some crazy jerseys, and there were some crazy ones even in Pittsburgh. Baltimore has some. Cincinnati's got some good ones, dude. Cincinnati, like you don't realize how many like, wow, I forgot he played for like a week here jerseys end up in Cincinnati. But Pittsburgh wears like some like you see like old school like punter jerseys, and you're just like, shout out, you know what I mean? Shout out to that guy for doing that. So Pittsburgh's up there. It's hard to say, but Pittsburgh's up there for sure. For sure. Yins or Jake, no, what do you mean by most of my jerseys are fake? They're fake. I buy them from, I haven't bought a jersey in years, but if I was to buy a jersey, maybe not anymore, but back in the day, if I was to buy a jersey, I'd buy it off of like DHgate, something crazy. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And these things are coming in there clearly stitched on, just something's off. Sometimes it's spelled wrong. They're not legit, but they're, as long as you avoid the NFL ones, they're pretty good. The NFL ones are rough. Basketball ones look totally fine. I got a Vince Carter jersey in there. You'd never tell the difference ever.
Yeah.
$7.
That makes basketball makes sense to me, right? Like it's a tank top basically. Like how can you mess that up? But yeah, you get, you order a James Harrison and you get James Harrison. And you're like, oh no.
I bought my dad a Peyton Manning Broncos jersey when I was in a high school or something, and off of DHgate, and it was so terrible, dude. So terrible. It showed up in like the little NFL note. Our logo was like just was a sticker that like kept falling off that you had to just stick back on. It was bad. But that's what I mean. I get them from the shadiest of shady spots here. Scooter, you guys should have a throwback jersey contest on here for members. I'd be all about it. That would be awesome. A little off-season competition. I'd be for it. I'd definitely be for it. We'll set it up here. Nate needs more salad. What's more likely? Either Minka or Jalen proves who won the trade, or neither makes any splash. Oh, I think Minka or Jalen. There's no way that we walk out of here with nothing. Monday night primetime game. Tua in the cold. Aaron in the cold. Like, nah, dude. Nah, I'm going. What's more likely is somebody says something, does something.
I'll take the opposite, not just be contrarian. Like, I think, and if your earlier arguments are to be believed, this is a game where Jonnu Smith is the one leaving the impression to take away from. So maybe it's not a matter of Jalen Ramsey making a splash or Minka making a splash. Maybe they're just the silent, they're silent, but there because it's tight end Jonnu Smith catching a ball past the line of scrimmage to the shock of the entire crowd.
Oh, I love it. I love it so much. ND Joe, I might get into a violent altercation with someone wearing a Collinsworth jersey. Not gonna lie. I wouldn't even blame you. Wouldn't even blame you if you just walked up. You just rip the patch off. We're not condoning violence, but you should just rip the patch off and just say, what are you even doing, bro? Who even is this? Who are you? Shout out to Chris Collinsworth, dude, who for the first time ever, has a website that makes sense when you read about Myles Garrett. Ever. Which I'm surprised they haven't come up with a new number for him. You know what I mean? because you have to throw some shade here at some point. I'm shocked that PFF hasn't come up with like Myles Garrett's new pass rush grade is infinity. It's the unbeatable number. I'm shocked. I'm super duper shocked. Super duper.
Here's a guy who's got infinity Russians.
I just threw up in my mouth.
He's the best rushing grade ever.
I just threw up right here on the scene. That was not good. Don't ever do that again.
I wish I could do a better Chris Collinsworth. I can't.
They can't. It doesn't. We don't need it. We're okay. No coast golf. Shout out the boys. Life has been very busy as of late, and your updates, videos, posts, etc. have kept me updated with everything Steelers. Love the content and effort. Gents. A+. Shout out my guy. Hope you're doing well. Sometimes a busy life's a good life. You know what I'm saying? So hope it's good, busy. Hope you're keeping up, and we're glad to be here. We're glad to be here for sure. Slim, hey, Noah and Jacob, would you trade Tomlin for Mike McDaniels?
No. You know who Mike McDaniels looks like to me?
Who?
I don't know. Logic, the rapper.
A little bit, actually. A little bit.
Yeah,
like a
I
more nerdy Logic. And Logic's already pretty nerdy.
Yeah. I would not do that. No.
I also wouldn't. Mike McDaniels was fun for like a year, and then it faded so fast, and I just don't know if it's gonna come back. I don't know if it's gonna come back. Tortilla Jackson, Watt should be rated 99 in PFF for all the almost tackles. Yeah, dude. If we are doing double team percentage, TJ Watt should win Defensive Player of the Year this year. Just saying. If you're doing chip percentage, that's an easy one. There's actually no questions to it. It is TJ Watt, Defensive Player of the Year, probably Lifetime Achievement Award, Nobel Prize, and just whatever else you could give him. MVP. Shout out to TJ Watt. Shout out to PFF for being absolutely useless. Duff K. Metcalf. My buddy is a diehard Browns and Shathong. Shathong, man. Should I go watch Browns Steelers at the Mistake by the Lake? Dude, that's so hilarious. I don't even know what the Mistake by the Lake is, but yes, you should go watch the Browns game with the Browns fan. 100%. 100%.
Stay out of my way or you'll pay. Listen to what I say.
Is that Mistake by the Lake?
Lay by the bay, eat some hay. Just may. What do you say? No, that's from Happy Gilmore. But I don't know what Mistake by the Lake is, but that's what it made me think of. Shout out.
You should go watch it. And let's hope for the best for Shathong. For good old Shathong.
Shathong.
Isaiah, did Kyle Duggar get his hand injured from the ball bouncing off them too many times? Shout out to Kyle Duggar. I had to highlight it, dude. I had to do it. Kyle's been a good guy, you know what I'm saying? But I had to do it. We're going to finish it off with good old Slim here. Hey, Noah, do you think Rodgers has any input on what wide receivers are going to play? Certainly. I think he has almost all of the input. On who plays and where they play and how much they play and so on and so forth. Yes. I thought MVS needed time to adapt to the offense, but once he was ready and Aaron got the green light, yes, I think that was him, which also means, yes, I think Aaron has some input on Roman not playing over a guy like Scotty Miller.
Yep. You are. Yep. It's his show, you know what I mean? And Aaron Rodgers is running it. And I think he has been probably advocating for MVS to come up sooner. He was the driving force behind getting Adam Thielen. Yes, his input is very influential in who plays.
Yes, agreed. All right, guys, with that said, we're heading out of here. Thank you so much for jumping on to another episode of All Steelers Talk. Make sure to subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/All Steelers Talk. Check us out anywhere you get your podcasts. And as always, find all our work at si.com/NFL/Steelers. Hit that like and subscribe button on your way out of here. Can't thank you enough for that. And with that said, we'll be back tomorrow. Until then, enjoy another beautiful day in the Berg.